Good morning everyone, my name is Mike Davis. I'm a young-ish research student from the University of Oxford. I've just started my PhD actually in February. So this is my first piece of research, working with Manisha Patel, and we're looking at the way the public sector shares cyber situation awareness and how it tries to manage the risk. So there are two elements to the research. The first element is going to look at the initial decision-making process around the organisation entering into cyber sharing information, and whether or not that process is actually underpinned by a solid basis or a solid foundation of formal risk management. And the second element will then look at what follows that, the ongoing business as usual processes of information sharing, whether they're risk managed and where that risk management actually takes place, either at the strategic level, at the top of the organisation, or further down at the tactical level. So we've had a couple of definitions over the last couple of days for cyber situational awareness. I didn't want to miss out, so I wanted to get two definitions in there. The first one is from the United States, from the Committee for National Security Systems. It's actually quite a long definition, but there are a couple of elements to it which I think are important, particularly the reference to risk, and also the projection into the near future, which I think is significant. The second definition is my definition, which I put in there, which is obviously a lot shorter, clearly using brevity. However, what I've done, I've thoughtfully produced a diagram which summarises my definition into a model of a wheel with a central hub and three spokes. Each of these spokes will feed in an element of cyber situational awareness. So, for example, we've got the organisation SOC feeding in information from their own network infrastructure. We've got external feeds looking at threat and vulnerability information, and also an element of insider threat information which can come from internal audit or internal investigations. And all this will feed into this central hub where it will be fused and then put into business context. So that, in effect, is turning situational awareness into some form of understanding that the business or the organisation can then use to support decision making. So, quickly moving on. I'm now going to look at the need to share and the requirement to share. I think there's general consensus that the sharing of cyber information intelligence is a key security enabler. For example, again, in the fight against cyber criminals, the ability to fuse information, look at techniques, tactics and procedures of cyber criminals gives us this forewarned, this forearmed approach to actually dealing with threat actors, and it's very important. It also makes a really important contribution towards decision making. It feeds into a risk picture, and that again will support decision making in organisations. So I think that there's clearly a need to share, and it's not just me saying it, this is clearly supported at the very highest levels. So in December 2015, we had President Obama signing FISA into law into the United States, designed to improve cyber security through enhanced sharing of information about cyber threats. So I'm with Barack all the way on this. I'm a firm supporter of sharing cyber situational awareness. So what about in the UK then? In the UK we've got the Cyber Security Information Sharing Partnership, the CISP. And once again, the aim being to share cyber threat and vulnerability information in order to increase this overall situational awareness of cyber threats and therefore reducing the impact on UK business. So I've got a slide there explaining what the CIS does. I'm going to paraphrase. It's there to really facilitate this exchange of information and in real time and significantly in it should be in inverted commas, a secure and dynamic environment. Going back to my diagram that I thoughtfully produced, where you saw the fusion cell in the centre of the wheel there. The fusion cell in the CIS was this joint industry and government team who do the analysis, fuse this information, then feed back that cyber information out to the participating organisations. A couple of bullet points there about the CISP. The two I'm really interested in are the two at the bottom there. When you consider this organisation is less than 3 years old, it's got 10 regional branches across the United Kingdom with a wide variety of members from the national infrastructure, business, many public sector organisations and academia. And as of April this year, there were 2,000 organisations and over 5,300 individuals already signed up. So in the UK, this operation is already working at scale. Very, very important. So my interest then really is looking at the UK public sector. I've got a vested interest. I've spent most of my working life in various departments within the public sector. Clearly there's a risk of unconscious bias being introduced into my research from my background. However, also of interest is the fact that the provision of information security is very well established across the public sector. So in the old days, we called it intelligence, and we've always had procedural security, document security, physical security, personnel security, all in place over a long period of time to protect this information. So as we move into the information age then, there are already a wide range of standards and literature for the public sector to enable them to protect information. And I'm going to draw out one document in particular, which is the Security Policy Framework, the SPF, which is the overarching framework document that provides governance in direction and control to the whole public sector around information security and information assurance. This should lead to this consistency right across the sector with organisations doing the same things. And within the latest version of the SPF, which came out last year, one of the overarching principles, number 3 there, is risk management is key, which clearly is the area that I'm going to look at.